In a world that's on fire, thank God for movies. I'm Jon Negroni. I'm a film critic guy based in the San Francisco Bay Area. He's also a film critic guy, but he's in Pennsylvania, so sorry to explain that. It's Will Ashton.
What up?
Hey, Will, how has been your life?
Hanging in there, I guess. How's your life been?
Yeah, my life has been, I won't say hanging, right? I've probably fallen off the cliff, but
Are you?
oh, thanks, you caught me. I appreciate it.
Okay. So if you're the hanging in there cat, I'm the guy grabbing the cat before it falls out of the tree, like a fireman or something.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
You do have a mustache for it.
Oh, okay.
Today on the show, we're going to talk about The Devil Wears Prada 2. We haven't been around. Very sorry about that. Back in March, I went on an international trip. And gosh, April was kind of, I missed Project Hail Mary. I missed the drama. I missed a bunch of big releases. And then, while I was gone for a while, and then I came back, and then April was tumultuous. But hey, it's summer movie season. Good time to kick things back off, I guess. And, Will, I had a little idea to start the show before we get to Devil Wears Prada 2, if you're down.
Boy, when you get ideas, I don't know what's going to happen.
It's a very simple game. It's a very simple one. It's called, actually, it doesn't have like a name to it yet, but it's like a variation of Seen It. And so the idea is, I'm going to tell you the movie, and you're going to tell me if you've seen it, if you're going to see it, or if there's no way in hell you're coming anywhere near that movie. And I think the stealth fourth category is like, what movie is that? Which I hope we get at least one of those. In fact, I know we will. But yeah, are you down? Are you game?
Well, I'm always down.
Okay, well, I got my first movie here. And, again, we're playing a little bit of catch-up. The point of the game, too, is for the listeners to be like, yeah, what else is playing at the movies? I already saw Devil Wears Prada 2. What else could I check out? Well, here's a movie. Hokum, the new Adam Scott movie.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. This is that guy. You might have to remind me. I saw his previous film.
He did
which I liked.
Caveat and Oddity, I think.
Oddity, that's it. Yeah, which
David
I liked.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Let me double check.
Yeah, I liked Oddity. It seems like this one is in a similar vein. I think it's a little weird that Adam Scott's the lead of what seems to be a fairly straightforward horror film, but I'm happy to give him the benefit of the doubt. So
Sorry, Damien, not David. Damien McCarthy is his name.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I haven't seen it, but I would like to see it at some point.
Yeah, reviews are good. Yeah, in fact, I pitched this as the movie to talk about this week, but Will was like, never pitch something to me again.
Whoa.
In place of Devil Wears Prada 2. There's no way we're not talking about Devil Wears Prada 2.
No.
I've never seen you that mad.
What happened was you actually went to a screening of Devil Wears Prada 2, so I thought it made the most sense.
You were panicking. You were like, I thought this was in the bag, and then John throws this curveball at me.
No, I just thought it was pretty much set to be, and I figure it's always nice to talk about something from the 2000s, the era we grew up in. We can get a little bit wistful, though you did surprise me. I don't know if I should reveal it this early on, that you only recently watched the first Devil Wears Prada. I thought you had seen that, like everyone else back when it came out, but, Jon Negroni is a man of many surprises. Apparently, that one slipped your radar back in the day somehow or another.
Yeah, because that came out, we'll talk about it, but that came out like when I was 15, and I think I was just at that age where I definitely didn't go to a lot of movies in 2006, and it wasn't until like end of 2007 I started going to the movies a lot when I was finishing up high school. So yeah.
So I forget when I did this. It might have been a while ago. Like I did like a chart to see like what year I've seen the most films, and for whatever reason, for better or for worse, 2006, I've seen the most films of any year ever. And I think it's
I have a lot of blind spots that year. Okay.
That would have been probably middle school. So I wasn't really, engaged in sports or do anything like that. So I was just really expanding my horizon.
I mean, that's probably how I am with like 2004. I saw a ton of movies in 2004, and that's when I was in middle school. So I think that actually kind of tracks a little bit.
Sure.
You have that like phase, where you're like, oh, I can go to like PG-13 movies and I can do all that. And, also 2004 is like when Spider-Man came out, or Spider-Man 2.
I think actually what it was I found out you could rent movies for free from the public library, and it was like a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory moment where I was just like, oh boy.
That'll do it. You're just, you're like the blueberry girl, but with movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, next movie here is Michael, the Michael Jackson Bohemian Rhapsody knockoff. Whew, those reviews. My goodness. So yeah, seen it, gonna see it. No way you're in hell you're gonna watch that. Secret 4th or 5th category.
Yeah, I'm not gearing up to see it anytime soon. I'll never say never, but I don't know. Just everything I've heard about the film seems to suggest it's what I expect it to be, which is a sort of glossy, unprobing story about, this fairly complicated musical legend who, made
Shocked it's
obviously
coming out April 24th. It came out in like the late spring. Like, what were they thinking? I mean, it made
I don't
money, but
know.
like, how is this not like,
A
September,
summer
November?
release. You think
Or
it,
yeah,
like, for
even
award
summer,
season.
sure. I don't know, I thought it was weird, but sorry, you were saying.
I don't know. I
Rocket
feel like
Man came out around spring, I know, but like it didn't
Yeah.
do that well comparatively. So I don't know.
this was
Michael
gonna make
Jackson.
$1 billion. Yeah, this was gonna make $1 billion no matter what. I think they could have released this in the heat of August. They could have released this in the middle of February. It was gonna make money no matter what. I think people just, for whatever reason, just are willing to, overlook the many, many flaws of this man and just want to enjoy the music. I mean, he is probably the greatest pop musician of all time, but he's also someone who I think, needs to be examined in a kind of clear light, and this doesn't seem like the type of film that's interested to do that, especially given that the Jackson estate seems to be very hands-on and wants to control the image in a way that's not only troubling, but seems to be not in the interest of making the most enjoyable or interesting film. So I probably won't see it. I mean, maybe if it's like, like on a plane situation, like I might be
I was literally
curious
gonna
enough.
say it's a plane movie for me. Like if I was gonna see it.
Yeah.
You know what's funny too? No, go ahead.
The only reason I think, not the only reason, but the main reason actually, and I think you might appreciate this. The only reason I'm hesitant to never say never about it is because apparently Mike Myers is in the film, and I kind of just want to see his performance at least. Maybe I'll
I
wait
know there was
until.
some critic, and it's so funny because some critic called it Bohemian Jackson, and that's even funnier that Mike Myers was in Bohemian
Sure.
Rhapsody.
Yeah. I guess he's friends with Graham Knight, the main producer. That's my guess.
Now, I will say, for folks who are kind of like, oh, I don't plan to see it either. If you haven't seen it already, for folks listening, I think Leaving Neverland is a great documentary to watch in terms of, kind of grappling with the Jackson legacy, but through the lens of the men, who, are claimed to be abuse victims, trying to choose my words carefully. But, you do get a snapshot of his career, his legacy, but also the controversy and all that. I think it's technically like a mini series, but yeah.
Is that available anywhere? Because I know they took it off of HBO.
I wasn't aware that it was off HBO. I think you can probably rent it, or maybe even, or I'm sure you can buy it. I don't know if you can rent it, but let me look it up.
Yeah, I
forget
know that
if you
was,
saw it.
I haven't seen it. I mean, it wasn't for any particularly good reason. It was just one of those. I never found the right time to watch it. It seemed like a obviously difficult watch, and I didn't really know when to watch it, and then I may have missed my chance if it's no longer on HBO. But I'm sure some way or another, if it's not available to rent, I'm sure there's some way, hopefully out there that people can watch if it's on DVD or whatever. But I know that was part of the kind of conflict with Michael, the movie, is that the Jackson State kind of tried to bury this film at the time that this biopic was coming out. So that was another reason why I wasn't especially keen to watch this biopic. But yeah, just I mean, even beyond the controversy, it just doesn't seem like that interesting of a film or that well made of a film. So yeah, I haven't seen it.
All right, yeah, and I don't have confirmation. It looks like you can stream it on Prime Video. Maybe it's actually hard to tell, so I don't want to say that definitively. But it also does look available to buy on Blu-rays, so there is that at least. More and more people, I got to tell you, are going the physical media route. For
Makes sense.
this kind of reason.
I mean, it's just like when vinyl spiked. Just
it's just
the end of
you
the
never
day.
know when stuff is just like not going to be available anywhere. I know people were talking about how like Westworld, you can't watch Westworld anywhere, and in many cases sometimes you can't even buy stuff. So like, yeah, buying physical media is becoming more and more like a really smart decision. If you really like something and you want to be able to have readily have access to it anytime.
I mean,
Yeah.
the bigger issue is the fact that a lot of recent stuff doesn't get a physical release.
That's
I
true.
think Zach Kreger was talking about that. I think Barbarian still doesn't have a DVD or Blu-ray release at the moment.
Wild.
And
It's one of the perks of being a film critic, though, is that we do get screeners, and we do we used to. We don't really get them as much anymore, though. So that's kind of going away too. But we used to always get physical screeners. And actually, now that I recall, last year we didn't get as many as before. I remember thinking like, oh gosh. Anyway, okay, here's the next one. Will Ashton. This one, this would make a fun. Thank God for movies episode. Animal Farm.
I'm curious about it. I know.
I heard this movie is horrendous.
I know Corey Woodruff saw it. He was telling me about it. I guess he got the interview Andy Serkis. Yeah, I heard. I mean, I remember hearing not great things about this last year. And I don't really know why, of all studios, Angel Studios is the one that's distributing it for a U.S. audience. But yeah, I don't know. It's so I don't know, interesting, weirdly interesting that I can't say no. But I don't know. It also just kind of bums me out. Like, I know that Andy Serkis was really keen on making this movie for a lot of reasons and for a long time.
He hasn't made anything since Mowgli, right?
Well, he made Venom 2. Let There Be Carnage. He directed it. Yes, he did.
Oh my gosh.
And he's directing that Lord of the Rings Gollum movie that may or may not already be filmed. I forget.
Yeah, well, that's supposed to come out next year, isn't it?
I believe so. So, yeah, I don't know. It seems like this movie, I don't want to speak for Andy Serkis. I'm sure Corey had a lovely interview with him. It sounds like to me that this movie, there are a lot of compromises made in order to get it to the goalpost. And it sounds like those concessions were not for the best. But I
got to tell you,
haven't seen the film.
Yeah, I know some people who, so I know this is like an animated film. It's kind of got like, I think Seth Rogen's one of the voices. I think this is one of those cases where, because like I don't plan on seeing it unless we do like a drunk episode of the show. But man, what a misfire in terms of like, for Andy Serkis, like this could be the nail in the coffin for his directing career, like because I know that Venom 2 made some money, I guess, but like the reviews weren't very good. And I feel like, I don't know. He's such a talented guy, but I don't know. I feel like for him to be able to do another movie, high
risk. He'll
be
fine.
He'll be fine in general, sure.
I think unless his Lord of the Rings film is a absolute disaster financially, which is, I guess, possible. I mean, yeah. I don't know. But I think because that's pretty much set in stone, I mean, he has at least one more film. I never saw the one he did with Andrew Garfield. That was like his debut. I didn't. Was it Breathe? I thought it was Breathe.
That's what I said. Breathe.
Oh, I thought you said Brave, like the Pixar film. No. Yeah, I never saw that one. I heard that was just so.
Yeah,
I remember Mowgli being not great.
Not great. I thought it was okay. I thought it was an interesting interpretation, material, promising start.
Remember not being fond of it. I think we talked about it on the show.
We did.
Venom 2 was all right. I thought it was kind of fun. But I don't know how much he brought to the forefront with that one. I don't want to discredit his contributions, but I mean, of all the directorial films that he's done, that's the only one that I feel like I'm going to be or am mildly positive on. So I don't know. He's an incredible actor, and I think, he's
a legend.
I think he's, as you said, an insanely talented man. I don't want to dismiss his accomplishments, but yeah, it doesn't seem like filmmaking has really paved out for him so far.
Our next one is Deep Water. You gonna see it?
Probably not. This is the one that Rennie Harlan made with Aaron Eckhart, right?
With who?
Isn't Aaron Eckhart in this one?
Yeah. He's the main guy in the movie.
I saw a trailer for it a while ago. I didn't realize it came out.
I saw they had like a teaser thing for it, and like the when I saw Lee Cronin's The Mummy last night. Well, I think I told you. Like I was like, oh yeah, this looks whatever. Spirit Airlines, blah blah blah. I think because I know I've seen some Rennie Harlan flicks over the years, like Covenant and Die Hard and stuff, but I don't remember the last thing I saw the guy do. Probably was a while ago. Deep Blue Sea was pretty formative for me.
Yeah, that's all right. That's fun. Very memorable death in that one for a certain A-list actor, if people haven't seen it.
Oh, I didn't realize he did Strangers Chapter 3.
He did the trilogy.
Oh, he did all. Oh, I see. Yeah, the recent trilogy, the one that started in 2024. Okay.
I think the last thing of his that he directed that I saw was there were like 2 Hercules movies that came out in 2014. There was like the Brett Ratner one, then there was the one with the guy from Twilight, and I think he directed that one. I remember seeing it. Don't remember anything about it really.
Yeah,
Just that I
Legend
saw
of Hercules. You're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
5% on Rotten Tomatoes. Hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, he's a director with more misses than hits. I don't know
That's
how.
for sure.
And it should be noted, I think he directed Die Hard 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you said Die Hard, but John McTiernan did the first one.
Sorry,
so.
I thought it was obvious. I was talking about Die Hard too, but fair enough. But yeah, so Deepwater, you're not going to see. I mean, I don't have any interest in it myself, to be clear.
No, I don't know what's really happened with Aaron Eckhart. Like, I feel like he's been doing like a lot of what would have once been Redbox movies. I don't know what they are now because Redbox is no longer a thing.
He kind of got replaced by Alex Skarsgård, and I feel like he did some TV stuff and After Dark Knight, and he just never quite followed up a lot of his high profile kind of casting. He wasn't a romantic lead. He wasn't really an action lead. I feel like he's always had supporting actor kind of energy, but he doesn't have enough that like separates him. It's kind of similar to what happened with Nicolás Castrovaldo, the guy from Game of Thrones, who they tried him out on a bunch of different things after and during Game of Thrones to see like, can he be a lead? Can he be kind of a Jack Sparrow type lead where he's like kind of the main appeal, but he's not the main character, and didn't really pan out with him. But sometimes they just find little niches, right? They find some kind of, think of like John Hamm as having his moment years and years later after Mad Men. And they tried all kinds of things with John Hamm and that didn't necessarily pan out. But now he's like, living large with Friends and Neighbors, which is doing super well as a show. So you never know.
I don't know. I just feel like he had Thank You for Smoking, where he was like this really kind of dynamic, complex.
Hardly anyone saw that though, right?
I don't know about that, but I think I don't know. It just seems like nowadays he's like taking the roles that Gerard Butler turns down.
I don't know about that. Well, by the way, I'm looking at Thank You for Smoking made 39 million worldwide. And it's not terrible, but I mean,
it's pretty good
saying.
for an indie.
But this is like 2006. I don't know. I feel like the mid-budget film could do better than that back then. Just saying. I felt like the post-Dark Knight is like when he had his opportunity, is what I'm saying. But anyway, all right, next movie. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, the movie. Tears of the Azure Sea. Yeah, I know you already watched it. Don't worry.
I'm probably going to have to teeter towards the hell no on this one, just because I don't know what anime this is, and I feel like it's pretty unlikely I'd watch some random anime movie at this point in my life. But
I'd love to watch an anime movie with you, though, like you as the captive audience. Okay, next one.
Like a Perfect Blue kind of anime movie, or like Dragon Slayer, the movie? That's
like one of those. Like
okay.
yeah, more of a marketing gimmick kind of anime movie, not a Studio Ghibli. All right, or even like an Akira. I want to see the Akira in theaters. And I missed the Fathom event thing, but I think they have some kind of... Actually, no, not Fathom event, huh? I think they have like a special thing happening with Akira right now that you can still get tickets, but I got to go do it. All right.
I just recently watched Nakasaka of the Valley of the Wind, which I really enjoyed. So that was the last anime thing I think I've seen in recent
Pretty sure that's an
months.
Orson Welles movie, Will Ash. No, I'm just kidding.
I know it's Miyazaki, but yeah, I know that's kind of normie anime these days.
Okay, here's one I've never heard of until just this moment. RZA's One Spoon of Chocolate. What the heck is this? Did you see this?
No, I know of it. It's the like kind of blaxploitation pache.
Really?
I think Paris Jackson's in this.
What?
Which is kind of funny because I think it came out the same weekend that Michael came out, so it's kind of like, oh, it's funny.
Paris Jackson and Shamik Moore. Whoa.
I've heard mixed things. I remember Man with the Iron Fist was kind of disappointing. I think RZA's directed a couple things since then, so I haven't followed his directorial career since then. I think Wu-Tang is going on tour pretty soon, so there is a part of me that's kind of been nostalgic for the Wu, but I don't know if I'll see this one, but I'm not opposed.
I mean, look,
I've heard mixed things. Yeah,
it hit limited release just this past Friday. If it's in your area, you could always give it the old curious try. I don't know. I'm so curious about Shamik Moore. There's a guy who, like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like he's the victim of bullying. Like,
he is.
I get he's been kind of cringy and kind of goofy, and has done some things, but I feel like there's like a disproportionate amount of like the roasting has been maybe slightly too much. I'm not saying too much completely, but maybe slightly too much. I feel a little bit bad. I don't know.
I mean, anytime I hear about him, it's either there's a new Spider-Verse film or he's down bad.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, there's like all kinds of like, yeah, let's not even get into it. I don't want to join the fuss. Okay, here's another one. This one I know you want to see. If you have, I don't think you have already, but this is on my list as well. Our hero Balthazar. Gotta see it. I can't wait.
Yeah, I only know of it because of the kind of funny tongue-in-cheek title. I don't really know much about it. I know it's an indie release. I mean, I've heard good things. I just don't really know much about it other than it's some sort of like Balthazar Pache of some sort.
Which I forget, like, because we did an extra milestone, like, film anniversary thing for Balthazar. But I don't remember if you were on that episode.
I was not. I haven't seen that. And I know I wanted to.
Great movie.
When EO came out, because obviously that's very reminiscent of that film. But yeah, I still haven't gotten around to watching it. It's a big blind spot for me.
Well, for those of you listening, it's been in limited since late March, so I'm not sure how available it still is, but gosh, it's only an hour 36 minutes. If you can check it out at your local indie, I've heard great things, just saying. But also, I feel like this one, I'd be happy to watch at home too if I need to. Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I already said earlier, I just saw this last night. I don't think you saw it though. You skipped it.
Not yet. I mean, maybe if I can catch it while it's still in theaters. I'm kind of curious. I meant to say because I liked Evil Dead Rise decent enough. I think he did another film I didn't see.
Hole in the Ground.
Hole in the Ground. That's right. Yeah, I heard that this movie is like it's a mummy film, but I've heard that it's more of an Exorcist sort of film, and it's also more ironically of a Evil Dead, like there's like Deadites and the Exorcist vibes. Yeah.
It's very gross. Like it is trying to do more Evil Dead, which I appreciate to some degree, sure. But no, I'll tell you, like, okay, I know he's doing Evil Dead Burn, right? Either this year or next year.
That's somebody else, I believe.
Okay, he must be an executive producer then.
Yeah, I believe that has a different
You're right. Yeah, I see it over here. Yeah, executive producer, Evil Dead Burn. Okay. Fair enough. That said, Mr. Will, I did see Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I kind of want you to watch it. I don't think you need to rush out. I'm not going to be like yanking your chain.
I mean,
but this movie's kind of messed up, and
that's what I heard.
I saw it with some guys. We were kind of doing like a, hey, let's cheer Jon up because he's going through tumultuous stuff. We're gonna go take him to go see Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I'm not joking. This was the idea. This was the plan. 2 hours and 14 minutes, 30 minutes longer than it needs to be. Honestly, this is a 90-minute movie, 90-minute premise. The Mummy stuff is so tangential. Sorry?
It's over 2 hours?
Yeah, it's 2 hours and 14. It is insane. It strains credulity. You kind of have to like just let it do its thing. And it has like a couple of gross out moments and I'm like, I appreciate it. Yes, thank you. I want to see that. I want to be grossed out by that. Sure. But it's not really a mummy movie. Like the mummy stuff is just kind of like, I don't know. It's exactly like you said. It's an Evil Dead Exorcist movie. And they just kind of, they use the mummy thing as like an excuse, I guess. Well, I was not the biggest fan, but everyone I watched it with, all the guys hated this movie. Okay. Not a crowd pleaser. They were like literally texting like in the middle of the movie being like, I'm so sorry I picked this one, all that. Not me saying this, but my friend.
Sure.
And I remember thinking, I was like, because I did warn him, I was like, well, I don't know. I feel like I heard this movie kind of sucks. I think I said that at least in the group chat, but I was like, whatever, I'll go see it. Sure. I'll go see the new Mummy. There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I just heard mixed to negative things. I feel like the initial response I heard was positive, and then the longer it's been out, the more negative has been. But I will ask, because this is something I'm not 100% clear on, which is, do you think the movie would be better or at least better received if it was called something other than Lee Cronin's The Mummy? Because it seems like people take not only issue with the fact that it's called The Mummy or that it's related to The Mummy, but the fact that Lee Cronin's name is on it, which people
people don't know him. This isn't Wes Craven.
Well, that's what
nobody
I mean.
knows Lee Cronin.
Now, I think the reason that happened, if I can,
there's The Mummy. I did make that joke in our group chat of The Mummy in 2026, and I knew you were gonna be all like, "Oh, I think you mean Lee Cronin's The Mummy." I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
Well, I mean, because I know there is like another Mummy film, which is going to be a reboot of, or like a legacy sequel or something with Rachel Weisz and Brendan Fraser, and I feel like this movie has like tried to distance itself from that by being like, no, it's not that. Although I don't think initially, and this is where I get confused because I feel like if I heard correctly, initially this wasn't conceived as like a mummy film. It was going to be like something else like The Excursion or something generic like that, and then they turned
Well,
it
it's
into a mummy.
Blumhouse, by the way,
Right.
for people who don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like I feel like if it was just called something else, like apparently it was going to be, if people they may not have been positive, but they might have been more like, whatever, It just seems like the vitriol is more related to just the fact that it's this guy who's only made a couple films, like having a sort of John Carpenter-esque like, this is my movie in the title, and like a Lee Daniels the Butler situation. And then also the fact that it's called The Mummy when it doesn't really seem to have that much mummy stuff beyond, like you said, sort of tangential stuff. I don't know. I just that's part of the reason why I actually want to see it, is I feel like the response to it's been
you
kind of
probably,
confusing
for the context and for like the milestone of it all, I guess. Because here's like a little taste of it, right? Like 10 minutes of this movie takes place in Cairo. Most of this movie takes place in Albuquerque. And it's like, that's the thing. I'll die in this hill. I don't care. The Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz mummy movies were perfect, just the way they were. Like we didn't need to do Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. We don't need a reboot necessarily, I guess. But like that's how you do The Mummy. You make it a swashbuckling kind of like horror adventure kind of thing.
Well, that
trying to do this whole like Blumhouse like haunted house kind of thing with it. It's just, at that point, I don't know. But to your point, I don't think it would have made a big difference. I think though, like, maybe the marketing maybe that would have set my expectations a little bit better. Maybe if I had gone in and been like, oh yeah, it's not really a mummy movie. It's just kind of like it's like another Conjuring-esque kind of thing. But although it's not like Conjuring at all, because it's way more grotesque. It's way more like, whoa, gross.
I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like when like the Cloverfield Paradox came out. And like that was going to be a totally different thing, and then it became a Cloverfield movie, and it kind of felt like that. Not that the movie was going to be amazing before, but the need
to
this
this day, our most popular episode.
Yeah, I know.
Can you believe it?
I don't know why, but
literally hundreds of thousands of downloads.
Yeah,
whatever.
That's an early one for us. I mean, that's it's like I don't even know if we were in the triple digits of episodes at that point.
No, we were. It was 2018, so yeah, our 100th episode wasn't until like 2020. I want to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to check it out. That's a long ramble to say I'm curious about it, but I'm gonna have to keep my expectations in check.
Okay, here's one. I know you already saw this one. Desert Warrior with Anthony Mackie.
Oh, this is apparently.
I bet you've already seen it twice.
A big bomb. Apparently, like it's one of the biggest box office bombs in the history of cinema or something, I think, without exaggeration.
I know it was on.
Was this like made with like Saudi Arabian money or something? Like kind of like
I don't know. I don't know all the lore. Yeah, vertical.
I thought it like had like an insanely high budget, and that it kind of got money from like maybe some outside sources of some kind.
I mean, it's sad. I know this is Rupert Wyatt who did like Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, it
Escapist,
is.
Yeah.
I had no idea. All I know is that Anthony Mackie's in it.
See, there is a director, like, forget Lee Cronin. If it was like Rupert Wyatt's Desert Warrior, I'd be like, okay, I'm in. Sure.
The Gambler's Rupert Wyatt.
So I'm guessing that's a no way you're going to see it.
Probably not, but
Never say never?
Yeah, never say never.
Over Your Dead Body.
Oh,
Which I'm confused about this one. Because, like, okay, I saw the trailer, not the whole trailer, but I saw, like, clips of it. And I'm like, didn't she just do Ready or Not 2? It looks so similar.
You mean Samara Weaving?
Samara Weaving, yeah. She was in Ready or Not, and then there's Ready or Not 2 that she does with, what's her name? Kristen Newman or something.
Yeah.
Catherine Newman, I forget. But,
Catherine Newton? Yeah, Catherine Newton.
There it is. Who did like, Freaky and stuff. But yeah, they're in Ready or Not 2, and it's like this whole thing, like being chased around, and it's like serial killer stuff, and it's like a little tongue-in-cheek. And then I see this thing for Over Your Dead Body, where I'm like, oh, Samara Weaving. I was like, where's Catherine Newton? I was like, wait, that's Jason Segel. What's he doing there? Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, I was intrigued before I saw the trailer because, I mean, Jason Segel. I mean, I like Jason Segel. I feel like, as someone who doesn't watch Shrinking, it's like I haven't seen that guy in a while.
He's so good in Shrinking. Oh, goodness.
It's Jorma Taccone, from Lonely Island. I really enjoy Mac Gruber, so I've been championing him to get back in the director's chair, and I didn't realize this until I think close to when it came out, but it's like a remake of a Norwegian film that I saw a few years ago. Yeah, and I didn't even realize that until I think after I'd seen the trailer, because the trailer, admittedly, the premise isn't like the most original kind of film, but like I was watching, I'm like, this seems kind of familiar in a more like I've seen this kind of film already, but like not like of a type. Like I think I actually saw this movie at one point, and it was with Noomi Rapace, and it was the director of Dead Snow, but I can't think of the name. I think it was like a Netflix film actually. But I read that it's a remake of that film, and it kind of made sense, but like I don't know, I don't really know. I mean, that film had like a ton of tightrope to walk on, and it was only like all right. And it sounds like this movie is like more mean spirited and like doesn't quite get
Was it What Happened to Monday?
No, it was that's the same director and also has Noomi Rapace, but it's the other one. It's with the guy that was in, I think, Headhunters was this the guy. It's like the bald guy. It's like The Blank. I can't think of the title of it. The Trip. Yes. It's a remake of The Trip.
Never even heard of this movie. Okay.
It's all right. It's solid. I haven't seen Over Your Dead Body though.
Yeah, and it's only been out for like a week and a few days. It's made 2 million worldwide. I mean, it's only a domestic release, but that seems like a kind of a low budget. They're probably not gonna make much money on it, but I mean, it's IFC Films, so what are you gonna do? Okay, and sorry for folks listening. I know this is a very long segment, but to be fair, Will and I haven't caught up in a minute.
Sure, yeah.
So I want to know what he's been watching. This one I really want to see. You know I want to see it. I know you want to see it. I know you haven't seen it. Normal.
Oh yeah, I want to see that. Yeah, with my boy Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah. I should be able to screen it pretty soon, actually. But I don't know if I'll be able to make it. I want to, that's for sure. But that's the new Ben Wheatley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I know it's already wide, because didn't it come out in April?
Yes.
Yeah, because I got invited to like some special screenings for it, and I'm like, I could just, but that's the thing is like I can't really. It's wide, but I think they took it out very fast because like it's not really playing anywhere near me.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've been, maybe just because we haven't been doing the show the last month or two or whatever, there's been a lot of stuff that came out that I either thought would be in theaters longer or I was catching up on other things and missed them.
Mm-hmm.
Normal may be one of them. I missed Faces of Death. That was one I was interested in that I didn't get to see.
Yeah. I missed Mother Mary. I haven't seen Super Mario Galaxy. I haven't seen Project Hail Mary or the drama. I haven't been watching movies. I didn't watch Exit 8, which
oh yeah,
really
that one too. Yeah, I wanted to see that as well. I think I may have missed that one. I believe Mother Mary is still in theaters. That just came out not that long ago. I think Project Hail Mary and the drama are also still in theaters.
Yeah, there's some screenings left, and so like I'm not avoiding those movies, to be clear.
I mean, you're not missing much with Mario Galaxy. It's a screensaver of a film. It's nothing like, there's no narrative that you're missing that's like gonna dazzle you.
Yeah, what happened? Look, I heard some stuff went down. Yeah, no, to your point, and I've been looking at kind of like the summer movie season ahead, what we have to look forward to. I'll be honest, there aren't a lot of Jon movies. There aren't a lot of movies that I'm kind of like, ooh, yeah. Like even, I know some people would be like, what are you talking about? Toy Story 5.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not looking forward to that. I haven't seen the trailer.
I saw the trailer. It looks fine. I still don't really feel like I'm seeing, and maybe it's just me being naive, but like I'm not really seeing the real necessity for it. Like I get.
No one is. Pixar does. They're like, the necessity is we got to make some bank.
Right. No,
like,
I understand.
That's about it.
But I want there to be like a creative impulse other than just like technology is a thing that distracts kids. The screen time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But like we got, such a lovely ending with the third one. And the fourth one, while not as good, I think, it's like the last 20 minutes, I think, are really stunning and sweet. And I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many times you can, pick apples from the tree at this point. It's just kind of like there's only so much, You
have to reimagine it. That's the thing. You can't do another Buzz and Woody. You gotta just, you can keep the concept if you want, but just do something new.
But to your point, yeah, I mean, I sent you my belated summer movie wager list because I kind of forgot about it until today.
Yeah. I haven't done that sort of thing yet. Yeah, in terms of like predicting what will be the most successful. And hey, to be honest, there are only like 3 blockbusters I'm genuinely looking forward to this summer. I'm sure you could guess them, but
I mean, they might be the same ones I'm looking forward to, which are like, I'm really excited for
Odyssey.
Disclosure Day and the Odyssey.
I'm not looking forward to Disclosure Day. I think that's
Really?
gonna suck. Yeah,
I think it's
I'm
going to be
not looking forward
good.
to it.
I'm
No,
curious to see if it's going to be a Close Encounter sequel.
no way. I think it's gonna be dry as dirt. I think I'm looking forward to Odyssey,
Hey,
Spider-Man Brand New Day.
see, Spider-Man's the one I could give less of a you know what about than I think
I'm
any
sure.
other.
I'm sure. Supergirl though. Supergirl is the one where like I genuinely can't wait. I'm so excited for
Really?
Supergirl.
I
I
don't know.
think
I
like
mean,
great casting. I think that last Superman movie was so good. Let's go. I think it could be great.
I guess, yeah, I don't know. I'm embarrassed to admit which summer blockbuster I think actually looks kind of fun.
The Minions.
Yes.
I knew it.
It's
You didn't even.
because there's a little Cthulhu and they do a demon circle and it's just like
They know how to hook you. That's for sure.
Godfather 3, it's like just when I thought I'm out, you pull me back in.
I think that's a good way to transition out of this segment and into our review of The Devil Wears Prada 2. Let's talk about it. Yeah, okay, Devil Wears Prada 2. This is the sequel to the David Frankel film from 2006, which itself was based on a novel. I forget the name of the novel, but it was based on the novel. Well, this movie kind of like nods to that, of like this sort of memoir of like, this is what it was like working for Anna Wintour. And in the sequel, that actually is kind of like the book that Anne Hathaway's character, Andy Sachs, is writing, or planning or thinking of writing, which is like, oh, what was Miranda Priestley like and all that stuff.
I feel like I think both. I feel like there was a sequel to the book as
There
well.
was. It came out a few years after the movie.
Yeah,
But I don't know if this one tracks with that because I didn't read
I
it.
know. But I thought the first book was a novel because like this whole like I mean it's one of those things where it's like if you look at the author's biography, you can basically glean what the movie's about, but it's not like it's not made explicit that it's like supposed to be Anna Wintour of Vogue, but it's like an open secret that everyone's like, yeah, it's about Anna Wintour. It's just we're gonna call it a different magazine and a different different character name just so we don't get sued. But if you look at the author's, history, it's like, yeah, she was an assistant for Anna Wintour. Kind of follow the dots.
There you go. There you go. And so, yeah, that first movie, it came out 2006, as we already mentioned. And obviously, like, I knew plenty about the movie. I had seen plenty of scenes and I was well aware of its cultural impact. I mean, the basic idea of the film, there even in like TV, I remember like The Office kind of like played around with that and kind of was like making little jokes about the Devil Wears Prada and like the ending of it and all of that. And maybe that's partly why I never really just got around to watching the movie because I feel like by the time like I had an opportunity to, I was like, I feel like I've seen it, and
What
like
were they like kind of making fun with like the love-hate relationship with your boss sort of thing? What was the thing when they were
it
doing it on
was
The Office?
kind of. So like the idea in The Office was like Michael watches the movie in like pieces because of his Netflix gets sent to the office and he like starts quoting the movie and stuff and then he comes to Pam at reception and apologizes for if he had treated her like a certain way. And she's like, "You finished the movie." Yeah. And he's like, "Meryl Streep was the bad guy the whole time. Never saw it coming." So yeah, stuff like that. And also, there's the Anne Hathaway of it all. That is one of the rare Anne Hathaway films I hadn't seen until recently. That said, and I know, so David Frankel directed both the first movie and the sequel.
Which
Aline Brosh McKenna was also the screenwriter. Yeah?
just a mild tangent about this.
Here we go.
I think it's actually funny and sweet that like they brought David Frankel back. And it's going to kind of sound like a backhanded compliment, which I guess it is. He is like such the most like middle of the road journeyman director to me. Like he made Marley and Me and Hope Springs and Jerry and Marge Go Large and the Bird movie with Jack Black. I can't think of the name of it. It's just like he's just the most like 5 or 6 out of 10 director out there. And I was thinking about like Freaky Friday had a sequel last year. And that also had like, another like middle of the road, director. I can't think of his name, Mark something. The guy did Mean Girls. And they didn't bring him back. They did something else. And the director was like quoted being like, well, I mean, I was hoping to get called back,
Oh,
but
Mark Waters.
Mark Waters, yes, that's it. And he's like, I mean, I'm not like surprised I wasn't asked back, but I was, a little bummed. And just like funny to me, like, David Frankel got called back. And it's just funny to me only because like I just imagine, Meryl Streep being like, we got to have that Frankel touch. It's not going to be the same without him. It's just like.
I do think part of that might just be that, like, yeah, to your point, he's a journeyman director. He's well liked. He's been doing steady work, not just in film, but also in TV as well. And he's worked on shows like he worked on The Morning Show, and, he did The Irrational, and like, he just does episodes here and there, stuff that does well enough. He's a Sex and the City alum. And I think like this is one of those movies where like really the people calling the shots are Meryl Streep, Stanley Tucci,
right? Like
Anne
it's like
Hath, the studio.
That's
Emily
what I mean.
Blue.
It's like at the end of the day, as long as you bring back the stars, it could be directed by a wet mop. It's just like no one cares. But like it's endearing to me that, like even though this guy is just probably the most like sly and fine director, they're like, we got to bring him back. He did the first one.
This is a low risk movie, right?
Sure.
This is one of those movies where like they went really low risk and they were like, we're going to just kind of like, we're really going to, it's a lot of plot. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot going on here. But in terms of like the style of it or lack thereof, or like really what we're going for, it's everything you kind of expect from a legacy sequel. So let me set the stage a little bit here on what this movie is necessarily about. And I will say the first Devil Wears Prada, I thought was good fun. It was nostalgic. I loved the lighting of it. I loved the fashion, the je ne sais quoi.
Sure.
I thought that, like I guess you would agree, Stanley Tucci is the best thing about it.
Of course, yeah.
Genuinely, when he wasn't on screen, I was on hands and knees. Like I couldn't believe how's he, just him taking her under his wing and the way he treats her and this kind of, he has that whole line in the first one where he's just like talking about his background, and I'm just like, you're just the most likable person here. Because that's the thing. He's the character who balances the whole like, all right, I'm going to put you through it. I'm going to tease you. I'm going to make fun of you, but I'm also likable. I have a good reason for it. And he achieves it in a way that just like the Emily Blunt character and the Meryl Streep character, they just don't. Like, I feel like they're pretty unlikable the whole way through. Honestly, especially Emily Blunt's character. I found her very annoying in the first movie and kind of grating in the second movie for the most part, where I'm just like, I don't know. Somebody kind of rubbed me the wrong way with that character. But anyway, I will say I do appreciate though, because now I have a new appreciation for her cameo in The Muppets 2011 when she's like Miss Piggy's assistant, and that whole thing now makes perfect sense to me.
Sure, yeah. Glad that came around for you.
Yeah, all the way around. Anne Hathaway, she plays Auntie Sax, very anonymous. Like, okay, I'm just gonna say it. She's very boring to me. Both of these movies, like, she's very boring. Like, I'm just like, who are you? What's your thing? Like,
I think
she's not very quirky. She doesn't have a lot of like. She doesn't tell jokes. She just like reacts to everything, and it's kind of like, I'm gonna write something, and I'm like, I get it. Stanley Tucci is there. He has enough charisma to power that skyscraper you're in, but still.
I was thinking about rewatching the first movie today, and like the big thing I remembered about it was like this was kind of the stepping stone film for her. Like she was, obviously like kind of the Disney star. Like
this is right after Princess Diaries.
Diaries and
it's before Ella Enchanted and Les Mis.
Was it before Ella Enchanted? I thought it was like.
I believe Ella Enchanted is 2007.
No, I think that's like 2004.
Double check.
That's one of the Ella Enchanted is one of the ones I haven't seen of hers.
You're right. 2004. I'm sorry.
But you got like the hard pivots into like adult stuff with Havoc and Brokeback Mountain. Obviously, she's only like a supporting part in Brokeback Mountain, but this movie is like, and I don't know if you'll agree with this or not, but like it kind of has like the mannerisms of like a kid's film, but it's for adults. It's kind of like got like the busyness and like the kind of overly large personalities of like a kid's film, and like this character who's trying to like kind of prove themselves in like a kid's film style, but like it's like obviously meant for adults. But I feel like for Anne Hathaway it's kind of perfect because she's like someone who is still kind of in that like kid image for a lot of people, and she kind of tried to do the adult thing and didn't quite work all the way. Obviously she's great in Brokeback Mountain, but that's not like what I think people instantly think about with that film. But
oh yeah, Get Smart and Rachel Getting Married were a couple of
But yeah, that's like it's like the build up between those. Like it's like that's when she's like kind of seen as like an actual adult movie star, and then obviously you get to like.
And she was actually
play
she was cast in Knocked Up. I thought she was just considered for Knocked Up, but they actually were going to go forward with her, but she dropped out.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. But anyway, yeah, I mean,
that's a 2007 movie, to be clear.
I don't think necessarily Andy Sachs is a character that, like, I can't imagine anybody else but Anne Hathaway. It's like I can imagine somebody else playing it, but like I think it was so integral to kind of her career leap, and I think that she brings more personality than like a lesser actress would. That would make the character as written blander. But I think she's got like that kind of winning like gutso in the first movie that works. I think in this
she's
movie,
more
though,
likable in the sequel. That's what I was leading up to. I feel like in the sequel, she's an easier heroine to follow. The first one, she got under my skin. I was a little bit like, why are you being so snooty? Why are you being so, like, this is a huge opportunity. And maybe part of it is like, I'm watching it for the first time 20 years later. And like, I have a deep appreciation for things like Vogue and Vanity Fair. And like, yeah, I think fashion is full of some BS. And like, I'm not going to say that it's all this amazing industry where nothing bad happens. But like, it's so prestigious, and like this kind of like entitlement she has of like, I want to do real journalism. It doesn't ring true like in 2026 at all. It's like, but I think that's partly what the sequel is kind of getting at, which is like things have changed so much. So I actually do think the sequel is a good sort of, okay, let's take that seriously and kind of run that thread through a little bit and explore. So that kind of ladders into what I was going to say before, which is, so the movie picks up, it's been 20 years in real time. Miranda Priestley, played by Meryl Streep, iconic. Everyone knows it. She's still at Runway. Stanley Tucci's character Nigel is still at Runway. Things haven't changed that much, except, they have changed a lot. In terms of like the hierarchy, it's basically the same. Like Irv is still in charge, although we see like his son is also around there, played by BJ Novak, speaking of The Office. Emily Blunt, also speaking of The Office, she married Jim. She's not there anymore. She works for Dior. She kind of like pivoted to like the kind of retail fashion. But in terms of like the hierarchy of The Office, Miranda's still in charge. Nigel is still her number 2. I will say I was devastated in the first movie by like the betrayal, right? And how it's not resolved, but I think that's the point. I actually really appreciate how the first movie ends, to be clear. There's no love interest at the end. Nate kind of F's off, and she's like, I'm going to find myself and be a journalist. I'm like, you go, girl.
Whoa. No. There is a love interest. She does resolve things. Yeah, in the first one, she resolved things.
That was a one-night stand, and everyone knew it, especially her.
I think they make a point to be like, I asked for forgiveness to you, Mr. Entourage. I'm sorry that I tried to sleep with Mr. Mentalist, and I hope you forgive me. I don't think the implication is that like they're meant to be forever and ever, though. I think
the implication is she ends the movie being like, I don't need a guy. That was my interpretation.
I mean,
she's like, I don't need to be with either of these guys.
I think there's definitely an odd relationship that both movies have to homosexuality that I don't really like. They never really
homosexuality?
Well, because like, I don't know, there's like more, I feel like, tension, like sexual tension between like Emily Blunt or Anne Hathaway than any of the love interests that Anne Hathaway has in either film.
No, I don't.
I think all of her male love interests in these movies are entirely bland and boring.
No, you know what that actually is, though? It's Andy. Like, look, Emily Blunt, I could absolutely buy her character being bisexual, for example. But like, Andy Sachs, she is so boring. Like, she doesn't have tension or chemistry with anybody. Like, not even herself. Like, she's just kind of like there. Like, and she's just a little bit like, I gotta do this thing. I'll be right back. Like, that's her whole thing, right?
Well, versus she's married to the job, is what you're trying to say. And I think there's truth to that.
Let her be single. I'm thinking the entire time during the sequel, and I know I'm still in the midst of setting it up, but like this movie shoehorns in an entire love interest scenario.
I mean,
completely unnecessary. I'm like, what are you doing?
I feel like
she froze her eggs. She's good.
It's only appropriate to have so much setup because this sequel is like 75% setup. I think.
Honestly.
Like it's like so much. It's weirdly a lot of plot for a film that the first one is mostly character focused. Like it's like a fairly traditional, even generic plot that is bolstered by its endearing, fun, quirky at times characters.
It's simple. it's what you want on the tin, and it gets going quick. In this one, we have so much catch up, and to be fair, like it is economical about some things. Like for example, now Miranda has like a functional, healthy relationship with Kenneth Branagh's character. Love it. That's all you needed.
Yeah, that
They're
was
just
cool.
together. They're happy. It works because it endears you to her a little bit more. It's like, hey, she figured it out. Husband number 4, whoever he is, like this is the right guy for her. He's interesting. He's not in the movie a ton. He's not distracting. He just kind of shows up. He's supportive, and that's it. There isn't all this like hoopla over it.
I
Whereas
thought
like
it was charming that he's the 4th husband and he's in a quartet. Like, I thought that was a nice little...
good point. I like that.
Yeah, I thought that was a cute joke. I don't know if that was
I
intentional
hope
or
it was
not.
on purpose, but even if it was an accident, well done. Well done still. Yeah, so anyway, the whole point of the setup of the movie is that Andy has been doing quote unquote real journalism ever since she left Runway. Andy has been, working for like this, it's like a fictional thing called like the New York Vanguard, which is like this kind of like New Republic, I guess, or Daily Beast kind of thing, on a rag where, she was like chasing these important stories. She still dresses like in TJ Maxx. She's doing her thing. But the movie kind of opens with her getting laid off. And so, yeah, this is a movie about the death of journalism, the death of like essentially the death spiral of like all of these like media companies have kind of come in and they bought all the successful popular stuff. Nobody reads anymore, right? There's no print journalism anymore, at least to a meaningful degree.
Yeah.
And these places like Runway, which is of course our stand-in for Vogue, Vanity Fair, and all that, like doesn't even have like at one point Nigel even says it, right? It's like, yeah, like nobody really buys the book. Like it's all online, it's all ads and clickbait and all this stuff.
And it's so funny to me that, like, if you read the reviews for this film, like, critics, they see Lee Cronin's A Mummy, and it's like, honk shoe, same old, but you read the reviews for Devil Wears Prada 2, it's like the scariest film of 2026. It's like,
but that's
because,
the thing. It's like it's post scary though. That is one thing about this movie is I think it probably would have hit more a few years ago, because I feel like we've already kind of, I don't know. I feel like we've already kind of made peace with this is the way of things. Like I feel like 2018 was one of those years, for example, where it really started to settle in.
I mean,
that like we're in a new era.
I like saw at least like 2 or 3 letterbox reactions that were like, I wish this had a trigger warning as a journalist. So I thought going into it was going to be like a much rougher thing. I agree with you that like I was like, yeah, I mean, it's depressing, but it's not like telling me anything that like is making me question my life more than I already have.
It's not that timely. It's the right story to tell. I don't think it's that like, yeah, the way that they do it, there wasn't anything there. To be fair, like to be super clear, you and I have worked for these kinds of companies and done this kind of work, right? Like I still freelance for different companies and do things like that. And like, I think this stuff is nuanced. It's weird. I think people are just kind of surprised maybe that's like it's in a Devil Wears Prada movie, because we don't get like that much like attention on this like corner of the industry, or like movies that do kind of explore this thing outside of the documentary format.
I think it's partly because the first movie, one of the reasons I think it became kind of iconic is that it was romanticizing in a way that like working in a magazine. Obviously, there's a lot about it that I feel like, doesn't make one want to work for a magazine in a rational sense, but like...
I was about to say, to me, like it brings it down to earth a little bit more, or like it kind of humanized it.
I think it does to an extent, but there's like all these like fashion montages and like this wardrobe.
That's sort of about.
Costumes
I mean, it's sort of what the movie's about, right? It's sort of how she kind of comes into it, and she's like, "What's the big deal?" And like to your point, like she starts to romanticize working for the magazine, The Prestige. But over the course of the movie, realizes like, yeah, these are just like real people doing stuff. They're smart, and it's cool. But like ultimately, who am I in the midst of all this? Like, what I want to do isn't necessarily lesser.
I really wanted the movie to focus more on that guy that was like the actual journalist who wore the baseball cap the whole time.
Him.
I think it's so funny that he like there's like one scene of him in the Runway office, but I just kind of wanted to see like him by the water cooler and stuff, just talking to like a character like Nigel, just like, hey, watched the game last night.
And then Nigel like reciprocates perfectly. Oh, these New York Yankees just don't understand how to, you know what I mean? Like, just a perfect, like, retort. One of my biggest complaints about this movie, by the way, is, oh yeah, sorry, I can't even get into that yet, because I'm still setting up this movie, Will Ashton. You keep interrupting me, and I love you for it.
It's, again, like the movie. I mean, you get, like, 90 minutes into the film, it's like, we're still setting up plot.
Yeah, we are. So basically, there's a confluence of events and plot contrivances that essentially bring Andy back to Runway. So, of course, in the first movie, she was Miranda's assistant. In this movie, she's brought on to become the features editor because Runway is going through this journalism scandal. Apparently, they sourced, or one of their sources bit them in the butt and was wrong about something involving some kind of Foxconn type sweatshop sort of thing. And so essentially they need somebody like Andy, who she just won a journalism award, but she and her writers got laid off. And so this is the perfect opportunity. So she comes to work for Miranda again. Of course, Miranda pretends who are you? I've never met you before, all that nonsense. And in some ways it's it's a repeat of the first movie structurally. You still have she comes in, it's she struggles, then she has the montage, and then it's okay, there's the big trip. Well, the big trip's going to come. We're going to seed it early. Don't worry. And then there's the whole thing of is she compromising her values? Is there, but she likes Miranda, I guess, or what is it about that relationship that Stockholm syndrome? I think they even say Stockholm syndrome at some point in one of these movies. My biggest complaint about this movie: how do you cast Caleb Heron, the comedian, to be in this movie? We never see him stand up. Never. He sits at a desk the entire time.
Well,
he doesn't even get to tell any jokes.
His
Caleb Heron,
character's...
he's a hilarious comedian.
He is great, yeah. Well, he is called Charlie the Chair in the film, but yeah, I mean, it's a real sit-down performance from him. I thought he was fine. I really enjoy him as a comedian and as a media personality. I feel like this movie, he's in it more than I thought he was. I was kind of under the impression that he was going to be a fun little cameo.
It wasn't in it enough. He's one of the main assistants. I mean, we got a lot of Amar, but same thing with her. She's the one from Bridgerton. And
is that what she's from?
Simone Ashley.
Okay. Yeah, I felt
she's the first assistant, and she's in it, but again, they don't tell any jokes.
I mean,
they don't have a lot of zingers. I don't know.
My thing with Simone Ashley is I thought she was fine. I felt like they were trying way too hard to make her a new Emily, and there were times where they were trying to make her a little bit more sassy in a direct way, even in front of Miranda. And I was oh, okay, that might be a little interesting. Maybe Miranda's kind of taking her guard down a little bit since Emily, but they don't really do much with her character. I feel that differentiates her from, just being Emily 2.0, which I guess is kind of the point in a sense, but it kind of gets to what I think is the main issue of the film, which I kind of alluded to earlier, which is just that I think that first movie, for its lack of originality in terms of plotting, it was really thriving on the characters and performances. And I feel this movie, it's mostly ideas to the point where it kind of sacrifices some of the new character identities. And like you mentioned, there are exceptions. I think Kenneth Branagh's a really fun and interesting addition here. And they're little bits and pieces of Caleb Herring shows up and he's kind of fun for a little bit and all that stuff. But there's just also really weird, I don't really understand the Justin Theroux-ness of it all. He's very broad in this. I don't really get if he's supposed to be an Elon Musk parody, or he's just sort of the generally aloof rich guy, or if they keep, I don't know. I don't really get a clear sense of what his personality is, and kind of felt he was in a different movie a lot of the time. It felt he was verging on SNL territory for a film that's comedic but not really that broad. I don't know. It's just I think this movie doesn't quite reach the level of the first one for that reason for me, but I'm not against it at the same time. And I'm maybe getting ahead of myself again.
No, I understand. There's a lot to unpack, It's I was kind of thinking something similar of oh wow, you're going to have Lucy Liu in this. That you must be building up towards something really whoa with that character. And it's well, not really. She's in it and she has a function. Yeah, similar to Thoreau, he's in it. He has a function, but I felt to your point, Branagh was one of the only characters, kind of those cameo, not even cameo, but just one of those high profile or mid profile, I guess, celebrities where you're just oh yeah, I see why they cast them. I see why they're in this. There's also this big cameo that happens in Milan where I'm just why? And I get why. It's just to kind of but they play it up so much, and you're and then you're whoa, this must be leading to some kind of big scene, right? It's if you brought this person in. But no, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just sort of it's a weird flex. It's okay, we got this person in. What a surprise. And I'm okay, what are you going to do with it? And then the movie's anyway, let's move on to the next thing. And I'm okay. Oh, you have Rachel Bloom in here. Is she going to sing? No, okay. She has two scenes. That's weird, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this movie, I don't think I think it's somewhere in the middle as far as like these recent legacy sequels go. Like, I don't think it's the best
Yeah, it's not
example,
the
and
worst, not the best.
it's not the worst, not the best. And I think the thing that holds it back is that it's like kind of trying to have it a little bit both ways of like it wants to advance the characters in a sensible, like thoughtful way, but it's also kind of trying to play the hits a little bit. And I feel like some movies have gotten that balance, but this one, it feels like it kind of sacrifices the pacing of it and makes it a little bit kind of messy in a way that the first movie, for being
So
fairly
messy.
simple,
It's so convoluted.
the first movie is just very neat. Like, it's just like, it's, everything's tied up and resolved pretty neatly. There's not like a loose ends that aren't intentional. Like you said, like the Nigel storyline is intentionally left open, but like a lot of things are deliberately, tied together. And this movie just kind of feels like it's a little bit more shotgun. Like, it's kind of trying a lot of things. It's a lot of ideas. Some of them are interesting. Some of them are a little tedious. And I don't know. It just feels like, I don't know. It gets to a point where it's like, all right, we're clearly like 90 minutes into the film, like I said, and we're still establishing things. We're not going to resolve all these, so you might as well just like pick a lane and just, stick with it for now.
I mean, it's almost it's 119 minutes, almost 2 hours.
Yeah,
That is
it's
too
long. Yeah,
for
it
this
needed
kind
to
of movie.
be. I think it needed to be like 10 minutes shorter, like the original.
Well, because so much of that padding, again, it comes from the cameos. It comes from like the whole, like, we know how big the first movie was, that it's one of the few things from that era that is still kind of iconic, that is of its kind. Like, there just aren't that many sort of like mid-budget rom-coms that have kind of lasted the test of time in terms of like people still look fondly back on it or whatever. So in this movie, we have to have this whole dinner party where it's like there's John Baptiste for some reason. There's Mark Jacobs, and it's like it's so satisfied with like it's like look at where we're at. Look at who we were able to get for this movie. But it's ironic because like the most interesting stuff here, I'm not going to say Andy Sachs, but like the other three, right? To me, it's like it's Streep, it's Tucci, it's Blunt. These are the three characters who are the most likable, lovable, like we know them. We want to know more about them. We want to spend time with them. And like I think the sequel is so concerned with like trying to up itself of like, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to go over here, you got to look at this, versus like, no, just focus on, like what's likable about that first movie, which is that it is very entertaining to see Meryl Streep play this character and, let her do something kind of interesting in this new environment, this new media environment. We get some of that. Honestly, the best thing the movie does, in my opinion, is it gives Stanley Tucci more to do. He has more of he has more lines in this. He has more of an arc in this. I think that I was disappointed by where it ended, to be honest, like without spoiling anything. I think that there's something involving his character that I'm like, that's it. Like, you're not going to... Really?
It sets itself up to be more finite, I guess, than it is. It seems like, considering
it's such
where
a have your
Miranda's
cake and eat it too kind of ending. I'm just saying.
I mean, it seems like there's a logical endpoint, considering like Miranda's like, I'm trying to be coy as far as like not that this movie is super dependent on spoilers per se, but like I think there's expected but like moving finale that this movie could do. It even starts to set it up, and then it's just kind of like...
There's randomly such a great scene with Streep, who kind of like finds herself at this like literal crossroads, and like the movie slows down. There's no dialogue. It just kind of lets you sit with like the performance of it all, and like her kind of like maybe coming to terms for the first time with this big decision that's been hanging over her for a long time. And you're like, whoa, there's even Prada like in the background. Like the movie's really laying it on thick. And then, yeah, it just kind of, we're going to do this.
It is funny that they kind of have a moment similar to what you were talking about with The Office, where it's like Miranda also has a moment where she gets a Michael spot. Like, was I a bit of a tool in Stanley Tucci?
I'm so sorry. Well, there's none of that, but yeah. And at a certain point, I'm just like, there was a scene missing here, I think, to really establish. I feel like the Andy Sachs character, especially, like, she treats it as like a stopgap. It's like, all right, I'm here for now. And the movie never like really transitions into, why do you care about Miranda? Like, what is it about the psychology of her that makes you feel like connected to her in this way? You kind of get it with Emily, you can kind of see like there is that admiration that like you looked out for me. Yeah, things between us weren't always perfect, but there's like just enough of that seeding where you can tell that she wants Emily's respect. But I don't feel like we totally get that with Miranda. You obviously get it with Nigel. You obviously get like Nigel like adopts this young woman, and like, just rescues her from from the bargain bin. And so like theirs is like the beating heart of the movie, but the movie doesn't seem to know that. I mean, at least not fully. Like the movie is like, no, this is really about her and Miranda, and you're like, why? Like, why are these two like the two? Because at least in the first movie, it's sort of setting it up of like, this is who she could be. It's like almost a cautionary tale, and it's like it's a little ambiguous. In this movie, it's like it's way less clear to me.
I think that's what I was referring to in the sense of like it's trying to have it kind of both ways, because I feel like the beginning of the film sort of sets up this idea of like this is a older, maybe more winded, less like assured version of Miranda. She's kind of potentially on her way to like either a new job or retirement or something. Like her natural arc, I guess, would be like, kind of accepting that she isn't as powerful and as like pronounced as she was, and then focusing more on like the Nigel either ascending or getting his proper due as the star of Runway, or potentially even like maybe like getting revenge or doing something that I don't know. It just kind of seems like they had like ideas, and then like they may have given some characters arcs to different characters in a way that I don't know if that fully makes sense. I don't know. I think for me, like, I have nothing against Emily Blunt's performance, but I kind of felt like Emily's character felt kind of shoehorned in here a little bit. Like, there's like, I don't know. It kind of seemed like it didn't feel as natural to me that her character is in this compared to the other three. And I think, I don't know, I think that's kind of maybe why I'm less high on her performance compared to the others. Because I really think
I'm not like shouting the praises of her inclusion, but I think it was just okay enough, and I was fine with it.
Well, I think it's partly because just she is really good in that first movie, and that was such a like kind of defining role for her, and like kind of a career ascending role. And this felt like a little more, I don't know. It didn't feel as impactful to me, I guess. And it's a shame because I think Meryl Streep and Stanley Tucci really settle into their roles again really well, and I think in thoughtful, more mature ways. And then like Anne Hathaway, it's like I don't know. I think there's interesting choices, like as far as like she's a little bit more confident, she's a little less like people pleasing in a direct way, but like it felt like maybe the performance was a little too dialed up. Like it could have been like I don't know, maybe they gave her a little too much free reign. Like it could have been dialed.
I'll be honest, yeah, I'm a Hathaway fan, and like I don't blame her for like my own kind of like with like how she does the character. If anything, I just think it's the script. Because like Hathaway, I feel like she's always just been like average, either average at the very worst or really good. Like a really great actress. She's just that kind of person. I think even in like We Crashed, which is like not very good, the miniseries, I was like, yeah, she's all right in it. Like she just usually is good. No matter what. But yeah, this is definitely that kind of movie where I'm like, but I just don't like the character. That's all it is.
I think she's been bad in certain things, but nothing I think.
Which thing?
She's not great in the Alice in Wonderland movies.
Oh, you know what? I barely remember how she played it because she was one of the like Queen characters.
Queens, yeah.
Not the Helen Bonham Carter one, right? But
yeah, I don't remember her being especially good in Serenity, but I don't blame her for that. Like I think that was just.
I thought she was awesome in Serenity. Are you kidding me? She makes that movie. That's like one of the best worst movies of that year.
I think. Well, I mean, that movie is a fascinating film in many respects.
Yeah, and I would maybe give you The Hustle. Maybe The Hustle is like an example.
I didn't see
of
that
like,
one. So
that one was pretty. The movie was bad. I don't think she was very good in it.
I didn't see that, but
anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, okay. Any last thoughts on the movie? I know like people are really liking it. It's making money. It's people have. My review, I gave it a rotten. I gave it a 6 out of 10. So it's it wasn't like a full on like, oh my gosh, avoid this movie at all costs. I tried in my review to be very clear and generous. Like I do think this is one of those sequels. Like here's the big difference, right? People are gonna watch it. they're probably gonna have a nice enough time. They're probably gonna be like, oh, okay, a little long, but sure. But like the first movie, you watched it and you're like, I want to watch it again, right? A year later, you're like, yeah, you know what? Pop that thing in the old DVD. It is 2007. Let's watch it again. This
Let's
movie,
gird our loins once more.
sure, but this is a forgettable movie by comparison. It's just one of those, it's disposable. It's like a lot of these legacy sequels. It's not going to last the test of time.
I don't know if I'd call it forgettable as much as, like I said, I think it's just messy. Like, I think it's just kind of trying to do maybe a little too much. I appreciate that it's not just like doing the
much worse.
Yeah, it's not purely like a karaoke sequel where it's like playing the hits again over and over, but it is playing the hits sometimes. And I think it's as worse when it's playing the hits. It's better when it's trying to evolve the film. But I think it's afraid, maybe understandably, that like when it tries to explore like where these characters would be in 2026, it's pretty dark and depressing. And so they're kind of like, well, we need to make this lighthearted. Let's do callbacks to the original film. And I get the temptation, but yeah, I don't know. It just kind of feels, I don't know. It just feels a lot messier, like I said, than the previous film. But I will say, like I said before, David Frankel is a like prime 6 out of 10 kind of director. I think he's made films better and worse than that rating, but like he's just like, I earlier this week heard someone describe the first Devil Wears Prada as like a 5-star, 3-star film, and I think there's some truth to that. Like it's not really, it's not like a great film. It's pretty good. I think people really like it for understandable reasons. I think that movie is like a 6 verging on a 7 out of 10. Like it's solid. It's pretty good, even maybe good.
The first one, I think, is an easy 7 for me.
Yeah, and this one, I think it's like a 5 verging on a 6. Like it's like got stuff going for it. I actually like the third act a fairly bit, maybe a little bit more than you do. And I think it's mainly because of Meryl Streep and Stanley Tucci. I think their performances in the third act are really good. Like I think I was going to write this off at one point as purely like a rotten, like you said. And then it got to like the last 30 minutes and I was kind of endeared to it again. I'm like, I don't know. I think
I'm with you there. I think the last 30, sure. I think, yeah, there were some words spoken.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it gets to a point where it's like, this is actually kind of good, but I don't know if it might be a little too late. I'm pretty fresh on the film, so maybe I'll feel stronger about it when the classic Will Ashton idiom, one way or another, I'll feel stronger about it in the morning. But as it stands, yeah, I think it's fine. Like, it's not the worst or best legacy sequel. I think a lot of people are being kind to it because they just love the original so much. And I get it. I mean, the first movie, wonderful performances. It's fun. I enjoyed rewatching it earlier today. I think outside of the random fat shaming of Anne Hathaway, I think a lot of that first movie holds up in a fun, obviously dated sort of way. And I think this movie is just, it's very 2026 in its own way, but I think it's just, like you said, not quite as rewatchable or fun.
Yeah.
So I think
inoffensive is the word there.
I think it's one of those films that like it'll do well in theaters because I think people want to see these characters again. I think they'll enjoy it at the time, but I think as it goes along, I think like you said, it may not be forgettable, but I think it's just one of those films that people aren't going to feel like, oh, I want to rewatch that. I want to see the second one again. It's just like, I think, I don't know, it just felt baggier and messier and just didn't have that same je ne sais quoi to it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. My final thing on it is I think I am glad that they waited, right? Like I know back in like when the sequel book came out, they did want to do the sequel, right? Like they wanted Meryl Streep, Hathaway to do it. I think Streep especially was like, yeah, I'm not interested in it. Hathaway was saying that like, like she didn't have any ill feeling toward doing the movie at all, but it was just like, or like working with the same people, but ultimately it just came down to like, it was too soon, and I'm glad that they gave it another decade because it does add something to this that like, all right, you have room to maybe tell like an interesting story like years and years later, and it's been a long time and that can work into things. I still don't think it's the most elegant timing considering like the death of like media has already been so ongoing, but I think for the most part, sure, it works. It's functional. It does what it says on the tin. And, thank this movie. Thank you for not putting Sydney Sweeney in it. Apparently she was in it. And they cut her from the finished movie. So thank you for that. Appreciate
I
it.
think I think also Hugh Jackman was supposed to be in it, and it's kind of awkward how they handle his cameo because they mention him, but they don't show him.
I think it works,
It's just like a weird,
honestly.
it's just like, hey, Hugh Jackman's over there. And you keep waiting and be like, oh, I guess they're going to show Hugh Jackman at some point. And then they
That kind
just,
of works though, because like the whole movie is full of like random cameos. So I was like, that didn't take me out of it to be totally honest. But no, fair enough.
Miranda, why are you being so mean to my mate here?
It's Scottish. What
I
is
don't know.
this?
It's almost midnight for me, and I get loopy around this time when we're recording.
Like, I'm just glad we did not talk about the random love interest in this movie. Like,
What is there to
what
say
a
about him?
boring. I know we brought it up, but like, what
I
a
mean,
such a boring addition to the movie. Cut it out. You don't need it. Let characters be single in movies. Let women be single in movies.
I agree.
How hard is that? I'm just saying.
Anytime they show him, it's like, just show more Nigel. Actually, make him openly gay. Show him with a love interest.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, just the movie, I think if they had more Nigel, it only would have been better. Give me more of him. I don't need this random Australian retail guy that I don't care about.
We're rooting for a landlord. Give me a break. In New York? Come on. Okay, and you're not even gonna make fun of that too. That's it. Let's finish out real quickly with the Rotten Tomatoes game. We'll ash in 255 reviews have been logged for this one. You know, one of them's mine, and you know it was rotten because I already told you. But I want to know your best guess for what that score is. I'm so curious if you're going to nail it.
I feel like people, at least from what I've seen, have been more openly positive on the film. And that's not to say that we are outright negative. I think we're just more mixed in a way that a lot of the responses I've seen to the film have been like kind of similar to like what I was saying about the original Devil Wears Prada. It seems like a lot of people are like 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5. It's like, I had fun. I like these characters, yada, yada, yada. And I feel like maybe that might have set me up to expect a better sequel than what we got, but I think it means that the movie, it has a pretty healthy Rotten Tomatoes score, if I had to guess. So I'm gonna say it's an 86%.
You are too high.
Okay.
You're too high. I was gonna say, like, do you think it, like, if I'd give you another guess, do you think it's lower by 5 or lower by like more than 5?
I was gonna say if it's not 86, I'm gonna guess 82.
A bit lower than that. 78.
Okay.
Yeah, so a little bit lower. I wonder how much has changed since the reviews started flowing in. So the embargo was last Wednesday. I don't remember what it was, like the first couple of days, but I have a feeling it was probably similar-ish, like somewhere in the 70s that whole time. Could be wrong. But what about the popcorn meter, Mr. Will? We have 2,500 plus verified ratings. Do you think the audiences are liking it more? Or do you think they are returning these clothes back to the retailer?
I feel like there's been this sentiment of late. Maybe it's just been informed by the new Mario movie and the Michael Jackson film that audience scores are significantly higher recently than the critic score for films. So I don't know. I have a feeling this is like a 95% popcorn meter score.
It is not a 95%. I'm going to do the same thing, though. It's lower than 95. Do you think it's lower by 5 or less, or 5?
I'm going to say more than 5. Is it 85%?
It's 87.
Okay.
Yeah, so not too far from that. So I think some people are watching it and they're saying like more like The Devil Wears Nada. Actually, no, don't say that. That's a little bit too spicy.
The porn parody of the film.
The last one, cinema score. Do you have a guess for that?
I think I get B vibe from this, like B plus.
A minus.
Oh, really? Okay. People are just like fashion, fashion, fashion.
I mean, it's Vegas. The cinema score polls are in Vegas. People are feeling the fashion. You know, they're drinking their Fat Tuesdays, going out. They're seeing Caesar's Palace and being like, you know, I want to hang out with the devil. I'm here in Sin City. Why not?
Sure. What's at the Sphere right now? Is it
plenty of stuff? I saw
still the
Lennium
Wizard
there.
of What's that?
I saw Lennium there 2 months ago.
Oh, you saw him at the Sphere? Okay. That's interesting.
I didn't think you would find that so surprising. I don't, I like Millennium.
I don't know. I feel like it's been bigger, like U2 and stuff has been at the.
Millennium's huge. What are you talking about?
Okay, I'm not.
You're not in the EDM. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but they've had Backstreet Boys. They've had a Zach Brown band. I mean, I forget what's in residence right now, but something. But I know who's not at the Sphere, you and me, because we are logging off for the night. Thank you so much for listening to Thank God for Movies. Will, we haven't really talked about what the next movie might be. I know Mortal Kombat 2. My screening is happening right now, but I skipped it. I wanted to hang out with you instead. I think you're fun. I don't want to watch it. That's the other thing. I don't. I'd rather watch and talk about something else.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I want to watch. I don't think it comes out until next week, but I want to see Obsession. I'm excited for Curry Baker's new film. I don't think that comes out this week, though. I'm really excited. I don't know if it's episode worthy, but I'm really excited for Blue Heron, which I've heard is fantastic. I think that comes out this weekend. I don't know if that's on your radar or not.
Obsession is May 15th, so you're right. We got another week to go. Blue Heron, yes, I've been hearing great things as well. I think I do have a screener for it. I'll have to double check because I think it hit limited release already. I mean, in some markets, but that might just be like LA and stuff. I don't know if it.
I would definitely be interested in talking about the drama, maybe even a more spoiler-friendly discussion now that it's been out for a little while.
It's too late, Will Ashton. That came out forever ago. People don't want to listen. People want to know. They want to thank God for new movies, don't they?
I mean, that's fairly new, but is it too late for Lee Cronin's The Mummy?
No, not necessarily, but I feel like, I don't know.
I didn't realize how long it was, so.
We actually did get an email from Janus Films asking us to review the Blue Heron. I just looked it up in my email. That right? Literally for Thank God for Movies, they want us to talk about it.
Well, then there you go. I would love to talk about it, honestly.
Yeah, well, I'll email them back, and I'll tell them specifically that but this was back in April, so it might be too late. I just didn't see this email till now. I'm so sorry, folks. Yeah, they even followed up too, and I never responded.
Were they like offering a screener or something? Like, what was the?
Well, I'm not going to get into the sausage of it all, Will Ashton. Okay. The listeners don't want to know that, but yes. So, but hey, if it works, if it could work out, that is something that, I would be interested because not a lot of people, I haven't seen a lot of discussion around it outside of like Letterboxd, I guess.
Well, that's why
I also heard Letterboxd might be shutting down. And so that's got me kind of.
What? I didn't hear that.
You didn't hear about this?
No.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well,
is this like a today thing?
For like the last week, it's looking like they might want to cash out. So they might get bought.
Well, I heard that, but I didn't hear that they were shutting down.
Well, yeah, that's what would happen, right?
Well, they would get a new owner, but they'd probably just try to like turn it into something else, or like turn it into like a more like gimmicky thing. But I don't think that would mean the end of.
I mean, I think it would mean the end of it. Maybe I'm just being more extremist about it than you are.
You mean, but like not like the end. Like it would still be a site. It just wouldn't be the same experience. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or like it would that, or like they would kind of pivot and change it to be basically unrecognizable. Like, well, we don't have to talk about it. We gotta.
They would probably just
things we both got to do.
Turn it into like IMDb at this point.
Yeah, I could see that happening, but what's your niche at that point? But anyway, thank you so much for listening to Thank God for Movies. We really appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll be back sooner than the last break, but excited for the summer movie season. And make sure you go to thankgodformovies.com if you want to find more stuff from the podcast and more. But with that, we'll say goodbye for now. From the Internet, California, I'm Jon and Cronin.
And from the Internet, Pennsylvania, looking as unfashionable as ever, I'm Will Ashton.
It's Will Ashton's The Will Ashton.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
See you next time.